I was thinking, okay, how do I leave this making some decent money? I came up with the big number of $19 an hour. There's $19 an hour
No
to make
way.
this video for Riot Games, living in LA. I thought I was gonna make bank, and they were like, okay, John, don't ever sell yourself that short ever again. But I got a message from Rogue, and they straight up wanted me to like drop out of college and move to Europe to be their like
Ooh.
lead video guy at this LEC team. And I was like, yeah, no. I was like, amazing offer, but like would always see me playing League in high school and they came into my room and told me to do my homework and I'm just playing League, playing League, playing League. So they'd see me playing the game. When I started editing the game, and they came in, they just saw it on my screen. They thought I was still playing it, so they never understood that I was actually like no, guys, I promise. Like this, now I'm working on it. Like they didn't really understand that shift. So, oh man, I've been thinking about it. You know what, Cloud? Just because I like you, I'll let you have the announcement. If you want to clip it, go ahead. I do want to say I've been thinking about it for a while.
I'm joined with the one, the only Silvxs. Silvxs, thank you so much for joining me. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, man. How about yourself?
Not too bad. It's not every day I get to interview like a League of Legends editing legend, you know?
I don't know if I would go that far, but I'll take it. I'll take the compliment. I appreciate it.
No problem. I think one of the things I want to do with this interview is actually highlight some of your influence on League of Legends that you might not think you actually had. So that's one of my things that I really want to highlight. But even before getting into League of Legends, like I think like 12 years ago or something, like 2014, 2013, you start a YouTube channel, you start uploading some animations. Was that just like a hobby? Was that for a class in school? Like what got you into all
Yeah.
this?
It's a great question, and it's crazy to pull that out because I never noticed that anybody paid attention to that part of my YouTube channel. But that was I'm big first and foremost before League of Legends existed to me was a Sonic the Hedgehog fan. I just love Sonic the Hedgehog. I played all those games growing up. Like when I was a kid, parents got me an Xbox, and for some reason, all they got me was Sonic games, and felt like a calculated effort to just make me a Sonic fan, but it worked. So whenever I, started to develop my own hobbies growing up, because I had overprotective parents who didn't really want me to leave the house and go outside, sometimes video games would get a little bit stale. So I was like, what if I made my own video games? What if I made my own, little Sonic stories and whatnot? So at the age of like probably like 11, 12, downloaded Adobe Premiere CS6, which is just so old at this point, and learned how to edit videos. Then also downloaded Flash CS6 and learned how to make some sprite animations. And I would always make those, just for fun, never for school. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So how do you go from, oh, I really like Sonic to getting into League of Legends? Was that just something your friends used to play? You have like an older sibling that used to play? Like, how'd you get into League?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's kind of like the generic story, I guess I would say that a lot of people have, which is you have some friends, maybe you're in school, high school, college, whatever it is, and your friends like, hey man, there's this game that we all play, and we want you to get into it. So it's funny because I think a lot of people share this. When I first played League of Legends, when my friends finally came to me to download it, I hated it. I thought the game was
Oh.
terrible, and yeah, I did not enjoy it at all. And I played it for maybe like a week, and I full on dropped it, and I was like, no, I'm not coming back. And that was the old map, which yeah, like the new map's been around longer than the old map at this point, which is crazy. But that was the old League of Legends map. Hated it, thought the graphics were bad, and I was like, I'm gonna go back to my Sonic games, right? But then I noticed that they were all after school disappearing to play this game, and I felt a little bit left out. So I was like, all right, guys, maybe I'll give it one more shot. And coincidentally, that was right after I released the new map. So the game looked better visually, and it just clicked the second time. I learned how to buy items and how to level up my abilities, which I think helped. And I started to like win against the bots and whatnot. So being actually decent at the game, I think helped me to enjoy it. So yeah, started to play it and got into League.
So then you must have gotten into like watching LCS really quickly because my first memories of you were the TSM, like I never doubted them, 2016 going to Worlds. I'm not sure that's your first League of Legends video, but that's the one I first saw, and I was like, okay, this got me hyped.
Yeah, no, you might be one of the only people considering the way that got torn apart on Reddit whenever I
Really?
released it. But a little bit. It actually like It did decent. Okay, like I think half the comments were like, "Oh, this actually has potential," and some of like were like, "Here's the thing, right? A little side note. What I messed up in that video is that I said that in the intro text, I said that last year SKT proved that they are the greatest team in the LCS because I had no idea what the fuck. Oh, sorry, I don't want to curse, but I had no idea what LCK and all these different regions were. So I missed, spoke, and then all the comments, of course, were about that. They're like, "Oh, this isn't, SKT's not in the LCS. This guy has no idea what he's talking about." So that I ended up hearing the most. But yes, I got into LCS pretty early on, probably like within my year of watching it, because at the time, and I guess even now still, Riot did a really great job of promoting Professional League Legends in the client. And my dad growing up always had me watching like the NFL and NBA and like, pro sports league. So whenever I got into League of Legends, I was like, I want to see what League looks like played the best at its like its peak. And I had a friend that messaged me and was like, dude, I'm so hyped for Worlds. Worlds are starting. Ericsson, Faker, like, whoa, whoa. And I was like, who are these guys? So I got into it. The very first game I ever watched was, I think, spring 2016. It was COG versus TSM. TSM was, I think, undefeated as well at that point. And then, yeah, like, I think. Darshan was on Fiora and like won like just solo 1v9 the game and won like basically through a backdoor. Crazy game. So that like just made me fall in love with it because like, dude, this is so exciting. And I don't have to worry about playing. I could just like watch it because I enjoy watching it as well. So got into LCS pretty quickly, and then that turned into making videos surrounding it because the Sonic sprite animations were very, very time consuming and decently rewarding because I was building a little bit of a community around myself at that time through those videos. Like I actually had like a small fandom of people who like would make edits from my edits, which is insane, and I'm always so blessed to be able to say that. But editing videos was admittedly a little bit less time consuming than animating them. So I was like, okay, let me just edit some and take some trailer music and some of these clips that I find online and turn it all into a hype video. And as I mentioned before, I released that first ever North America at Worlds hype video in 2016 that you yourself saw. And yeah, like I said, I joke that like the community hated on it, but honestly, the people that did love it and say, hey, I see potential in this. I think the storytelling's really cool. You should just like clean up a couple of the edits, clean up a little bit of the storytelling. Obviously mention that SKT is in the LCK and all these different things. But I think there's a path here for you, and that turned into making that video every year for the next couple of years.
Was that something specifically you wanted to do? As like, oh, I think I can grow this, or was it just, man, every year come to Worlds, I'm an NA fan, I'm super hyped? Because I think the 2018 one really hit it big, if I'm remembering correctly.
Mhm. Yeah, it was the 2017 and 2018 ones did really, really well. And yeah, it's funny because that was the only video I would release each year, is that World Cinematic trailer, like just featuring all the teams, because I had school and life going on, and like I said, I kind of had lost motivation to make the sprite videos. And I wasn't gonna become like a full-time League of Legends content creator because I love the game, but not that much to like just start making videos nonstop all year. So when Worlds come around, I'd be like, okay, like let me just make a video commemorating it. Because admittedly, I like the attention. Like I liked knowing that like this video would come out and people would watch it and it'd get like 100,000 views and stuff like that. So when the 2017 one popped off, I was like, oh, it's awesome. And then the 2018 one popped off. And then by the time the 2019 one came out, that was the first year I was like, okay, instead of just making a just one video, let me try two, let me try three, because that was Faker returning to Worlds after not having made it in 2018. So I made the He's Back video, and that like I mean it's just a dream come true. Like the second I clicked post on Reddit, that video, like I refreshed it and had like 1,000 upvotes. Right, that was back
Ooh.
when the yeah, like the League of Legends subreddit was just like so populated and people were like fiending for Worlds content. And I had already released the Worlds cinematic hype trailer, so I think my account had good algorithmic karma. So the second I uploaded that one, it was like front page, number one post, everyone going like, "Whoa, you made another one! Silvxs is back!" And so that was super exciting. And then yeah, so 2019 popped off. The Faker video popped off. There's another one I made that year that popped off. And you guys might be familiar with this, and it was after Worlds. I was like, okay, let me do something to end off the year, and then this ended up being the video to define my career and kind
It's
of
just the
really
game.
kickstart it. Yeah, it's just the game video, which I'm not sure if you have a question to lead into that, so I don't want to steal your thunder, but of course that video did numbers.
No, you led into it very well, so I'm just gonna let you keep going. You give a pretty good idea, or you give pretty good detail of like where that came from, and the idea of like you were also uploading more videos, you exploring a little bit more, and obviously you like the attention. The faker one, obviously, it motivated you to keep doing this. But
Yeah.
when that it's just a game hits, that really changed Silvxs forever. That it feels to me like that was the turning point. So I kind of want to talk about the ideation process of that video. Was that an idea you got because you watch NFL or NBA? Was that something a friend talked to you about? Was that a project that you worked on for 3 months, or was it something you had in a dream? Like, talk to us about that specific video.
Funny. I like that. So what actually happened with this just a game is, yeah, like I mentioned, the videos had already done well pre-Worlds, and I was like, I want to do something post-Worlds, because 2019 Worlds was just so cool, anyways. Like G2 making it to finals and whatnot. So like just after that, I was like even more motivated to do some more content surrounding it. And yeah, the video. I think it was some of the interviews that I saw that were like just really motivating to me. Of course, like the Albus Nux Luna, the Crit interview, right, from 2016, which ended up being like the centerpiece of the video that I used to kind of tell that narrative. I always had in the back of my head. And then, yeah, like G2's run, seeing them make finals, seeing how it affected Shocks, by the way, like just her immediately, like she was so professional, like of course like when they lost in the interview with Ocelot and whatnot, and then after that, like the images of her like breaking down behind the scenes and whatnot, it made me recognize just how much of a profound impact this game has on us as viewers, and even professionals working in the scene. I was shaken up over G2's loss, and I wasn't even like a European fan. I was just like a normal just consumer, and wanted to see the LCS teams do well, and of course none of them did. But I was like, wow, this is just so exciting, and I feel such a deep connection to this game. I want to see if I can turn this into a video that speaks to that. Um, and again, like I just did some more research because admittedly I wasn't really around during like the Forgiven interview and the Dyrus era as well, which ended up being another big part of the video. So I was like, okay, like what are some other moments that have probably brought people and moved people to tears? And I found all those things and got to editing, and really within like 3 days I produced that final video. Now, what you
Wow.
might find funny is that as I went to upload it, in the back of my head, I'm like, this was really quick for me to make, and I don't think that this is like my best work. Like I remember putting it out and like uploading and being like, I should have spent more time on it. Like I could have done better. Like I could have like cut things a bit better. Like it feels more like a montage and not like a good storytelling video. Like I don't know, but it's out now, and I'm never the type to delete a video and upload it again with fixes and whatnot. Like no, like my whatever I put out is final. It just has to be final. I'm not gonna try to make it perfect, but I could have done better. And the community disagreed heavily because that ended up being, as like I have it now as my most watched video ever, like at 2 million views on YouTube. Which just thank you so much to everybody that's enjoyed that video. Came up to me at events and said like, "Oh my God, it's just the game is so great." I have friends here who know nothing about what I do professionally, that play League of Legends, who are like, "Wait a minute, I've seen this video just on my feed. Like that's you? Like that's insane, John. Like what's going on?" That video, yeah, just did insane work, and it's because I didn't need to do all those things I talked about. I didn't need to make it perfect or touch up these things. Like really, what carried that video is the moments in it. Seeing Reckless cry, seeing Dyrus cry, seeing the passion behind Yankos as he's screaming because he stole Bear, and all these different things. The arrow, that did everything on its own, and I just helped like guide it along with some music.
The one thing I will say that you don't give yourself credit for, because it seems like at this point you kind of recognize how you struck that gold, is you watched all those moments. And that's something that being there and feeling the goosebumps in the environment, that prey arrow, that ash arrow as it's going, Darius crying, like all those moments, if you didn't know about them, if you didn't feel those goosebumps yourself, you wouldn't understand to tell that story. So just seeing that story and being like, even though you're a North American fan, you want to see the LCS do
Yeah,
well. You can
yeah,
appreciate the G2 storyline. You can appreciate
of
Yankos for who
course.
he is. You can appreciate Shocks looking just absolutely breaking down. Like those moments, they bring
Yeah.
goosebumps. That's. I mean, I'm feeling goosebumps right now.
You're right, and that makes me want to go back and like rewatch that video and those moments right after this because you're right. Just seeing it, I was like, the way I felt in watching these things happen, I want to commemorate them and make sure that they never get forgotten. And obviously, G2's run will never be forgotten, and the arrow's never going to be forgotten. But I wanted to make sure that it was all in one place where people could find it. And to this day, I still get comments of people being like, I just came back to rewatch this, for my yearly rewatch or my monthly rewatch, or I just discovered League of Legends. I want to know what this is all about through this video and stuff like that. So yeah, I do appreciate that. I think just being there, present for it, made for a better product than if I had just like been like, I got to make something. I got to put something out to hit like a number, right?
So the other thing that I really liked about it is the pacing. I mean, the number of times I've
Mhm.
watched it is a lot. I'm not going to disclose that here, but every single time, knowing what's coming next, I still find myself holding my breath at certain moments. I just like getting excited, and just the way you take the audience from the highs and the lows to like all through all that tension. Is that something you studied? Like you said, you made it in 3 days, but in general, when it comes to editing, is that something you thought a lot about? Were you just trying to fit something to music? Like
Mhm.
what was going on in the lab?
Yeah, good question. I think it just kind of came naturally. I will say I joke with my friends that like in high school, I had my friends that were very like athletically gifted, and after school they would go and they'd go to football practice, they'd go to soccer practice, tennis, whatever it is, or they'd have like extracurriculars academically, because they just really good at numbers and they love math, or they have good memory and they're good with history and stuff like that. My thing was I would leave school, go home, and then open up Premiere Pro because that was the thing that I was gifted at. That was the thing that I was good at. Is listening to music on the way home on the bus and being like, wow, I really like this song. And like while I'm listening to that song, putting the video together in my head because I'm like, oh, this would be the moment that would be perfect for Praise Ash Arrow, or this would be the moment that would be perfect for the Lacrit's speech and stuff like that. Oh, this is what I'm going to show Ocelot, like hyping up the crowd, going crazy. I would build the video in my head. So that's the reason it took 3 days. Is because by the time I would get home to edit it, I didn't have to do any more scripting. I would just open up Premiere and drop the clips where they belonged. So yeah, it just kind of comes natural. I would say it's one of the few talents I have where I think you're kind of just born with it, where you just kind of know as you're listening to stuff or watching other people's videos and stuff like that. Because what I will say, I think a fun fact is that the It's Just a Game video was inspired by a Game of Thrones a Khaleesi edit that I saw that used the same song. And I watched that edit and I was like, this is sick. And I love Game of Thrones. And for some reason I was like, let me make a League of Legends video out of this. But yeah, like watching that video, getting inspired, listening to the music and whatnot, just helped me put it all together.
And then the video does what the video does. It completely explodes. I don't know of a single League of Legends player at that time that didn't watch that video. It was like
Mhm.
truly like it hit mainstream, which was incredible for a League of Legends edit. How does that? You said
Yeah.
that that's the moment that it started your career as a production company. What do people contact you? Did Riot see this and be like, oh my god, why are they not doing our videos? Like what happened?
Yeah, no, it's also another great question. I think I'm just gonna keep repeating that. I sound like a broken record, but you're so good at this. You're like the Sean, from Hot Ones. Yeah, you're him, bro. Like you're doing great. But so what ended up happening from that video is like nothing came to me like professionally from that one. Interestingly enough, like even though 2019, maybe to date, right? And it's crazy because it's like 7 years ago at this point, 6 years ago. But maybe to date was like still my most successful year in just like uploading videos and immediately just getting recognition and comments and views and whatnot. I have had some more successful years too, but point being, nothing came out of that. Like I didn't get any emails saying like, hey, we want to work with you. I didn't get any offers. What actually happened is during the pandemic. When next year comes, and I think my 2020 World Cinematic trailer, by the way, is potentially my best video that I've ever done. The storytelling there, I think, is just immaculate, and I'll give
Is
myself a
that
pat on the back
the
for that one.
Worlds is Coming one? What was the 2021? Uh,
I made two worlds similar videos that year. The 2020 video, I did like waiting for worlds. That
oh,
was
the
one
one
video
with
on
the
its
Ari
own.
like looking up into the sky. I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. That one was amazing. And what's interesting is I uploaded that, and we all know like it was during the pandemic, COVID. We're all sitting at home. Nothing is going on in the world. You can't go to sporting events. You can't even go to the movie theater. Or you shouldn't be doing all these different things. And so I uploaded that video, and I think it resonated with people just like being like, okay, everything is just like out of sorts, out of ordinary right now. But the one thing, because of the nature of the game being played online, that we can guarantee is worlds. Like worlds will happen. MSI hadn't happened, so there was a little bit of shakiness there. But I think right at that point, I had announced that worlds is happening. So I was like, the whole theme of the video is that like worlds is an essential event, and I'm waiting for it. No matter what, like I'm gonna watch it. Doesn't matter who's there or who's playing. Like I cannot wait for worlds. I upload that video. And shout out to the GOAT. We have to all go to him, whether you love him or hate him. The first message I ever get in my professional career is a Discord ad request from Travis Gafford. And I
Oh.
still have the screenshots to this day, sending my friends being like, guys, Travis Gafford just added me on Discord. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is insane. Like, what do I do? What do I say? Like, what does he want? Should I even, add him back? Like, is it a scam? All these different things. It's because I'm such a big fanboy. These are all people that I would just watch as a fan. Like, I'd watch his interviews during Worlds and whatnot. Like, I never imagined that he'd take notice of me. So Travis Gafford reaches out, and he's like, hey, I saw you waiting for Worlds video. That was sick. Let's potentially collab and do stuff together. And we did. And I have so much to say about him and how great he's been to me as like a friend, and business partner when we've done videos together. So massive shout out to him. We made videos together. But funny enough, like a week after Travis Gafford hits me up, as if I wasn't already like starstruck and shook up enough, I'm sitting at my I worked at a Chinese restaurant. I'm a delivery driver. I'm like sitting in the booth waiting for delivery orders to come in, and I get this email from, and I think I can say his name, but I'll just say his first name, Emil, dot last name at riotgames.com. And I'm like, what? And the subject line says, waiting for worlds. Great video. Let's talk. And I'm like, there's no way. So you can only imagine if I was that like going crazy over Travis Gafford messaging me, you can only imagine how insane I was about Riot Games. I was probably like running back and forth in the parking lot, like being like, oh my God, guys, like what Riot Games? There's no way. So Riot Games reaches out and they say like, "Hey, we saw your Waiting for Worlds video, and it's finally time to reach out to you." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean by that? Like, we're having a call and whatnot, like we're talking." And he's like, "Oh, like, well, every year since you released that 2017 Worlds video, those get posted to our Slack, and we've all been watching your career. And we finally this year said, okay, let's just reach out to this guy. Like, let's just get it out of the way. He's been making all these for free. He's been consistent. He's only been getting better in his craft. Let's just finally have him do a video for us." So I begin speaking with a Riot, and I'm just in awe of the fact that like they've been watching even when I didn't never imagine they were. Like I would get like a comment. I think one time Freak commented on one of my like videos, and that was enough for me to be like, oh my God, like someone from Riot saw it. Like I could have just stopped right then and there. I think Shocks commented on one of them as well, or like retweeted them, and that was enough for me. Just like that little bit of outside love from them. But when internally Riot was like, no, we are watching these and we think this is sick, that really kicked things off for me. So that kind of ended up snowballing, which I'm sure you probably have questions on, into the career that I have now.
Yeah, I think actually when that email came, I was part of your Discord community. I think you had just started Discord in 2020 and you were doing like weekly
Yeah.
tournaments. Actually, fun fact, I played in those, the very first one, I finished second place, and then I played another one. I think the first one, there was no prize except for the first place winner. And then the second one, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I can give it to first and second. So I finished second again. I still remember that Tryndamere player, man. I was playing like Callista, and I was like, what am I supposed to do, man? I still remember, like, I was up
Yeah.
1-0, and then it was 1v1 ARAMs, and then I lost the next two games. I lost to Anasis, I think, versus Ezreal, and then the
Mm.
last one I lost is Callista versus. I still remember this. And then I still got a
Oh
skin.
my
I got
God.
Blood Moon Sivir, and I still really
Yeah.
like that skin. But I remember at that time, one of the things that kind of drew me to you was you felt first and foremost like a fan. Like you really are passionate about League of Legends. And that's one thing actually when I started my channel was I wanted to get across that I am passionate, just like that Discord server of that guy. Well, I couldn't really remember who it was, but at that point I forgot who it was. I was like, that
Of
guy, he
course.
was really passionate. I want to be like that. And actually one of the things that I get as comments all the time. It's like, man, I really feel the energy. I feel the passion. I'm so glad that you're so passionate about the LCS. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of drew me to you. And so it's something that I emulated as well. But you start like the small community. And I think I recall you actually said, guys, I got an email from Riot. And I think at that time we were all like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, this guy's, I think we were all like joking, oh, don't forget us when you're big, when you have like a Riot email and whatnot.
Of course.
Um,
Yeah.
so you,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Okay, no, I'm so eager to respond to everything. Yeah, like when you message me on Discord here, then I can see like I don't even know if I had you added or whatnot, like who knows. But when you message me on Discord here, then I can see our like message history, and it's from 2020, and it's you thanking me for the skin, and I'm like, there's no way that you are the Cloud from back then. Like that is like an insane thing. Like what the heck like because so many people have like the name Cloud like online, like it's a really cool one, like either they're inspired by Final Fantasy or they just like the name, whether like whatever it is, right? So I never would have made that connection, and I'm like, wow, this is Cloud Sidkey now. Like, what are the odds? So, shout out to you, man, for being a part of the community for so long. Even participating in those tournaments because those are always so much fun, and I loved doing them and giving you guys stuff that I was able to. So just such a cool pull, and yeah, like just to give yourself your flowers as well. Like you are such a passionate fan about this, and that's the only way I feel like people can succeed long term. Like sure, maybe like Christopher Nolan could come in and make like a League of Legends video and that would pop off, right? Like yeah, of course, it's Christopher Nolan. But unless he has the passion for it, eventually over time he might actually start falling off because he doesn't really care about the game. He's not really following it, and we see it time and time again with these venture-backed teams coming in with the goal of just making money or just like winning and whatnot. So the passion that you show is the sole reason why you are here right now, being able to do all these different things and building such a massive brand, and people know who you are. So shout out to you, but I guess going back to your question as well, which I'm kind of blanking on right now actually because I'm so enamored by you. But go on.
I didn't ask it yet.
Okay,
No
fair
wonder
enough.
you can't remember. If you remembered that, I'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
oh snap.
Yeah,
You read
like,
my
what's he
mind.
gonna say?
No,
Yeah.
so my question was, you start building this community, you start getting like emails from riots, you're working with Travis Gafford. Can you maybe share the first couple of projects you worked for each? Like, what did you work with for Travis? What was the process of onboarding to work on a video with Riot Games, like this company that everyone looks up to and is like, man, like I hit it big.
Yeah, no, excuse me, but definitely what was insane for sure is that it was I guess I can tell this story now for sure. So it's funny. I was so shocked that Riot was even working with me that like in my very first call with them, they were like, okay, hey, we want to work with you. We want to do things like after like the dust settled and I was like able to look at it like objectively, they were like, how much do you want to get paid? Because I was like a freelancer, right? So they weren't giving like a full-time position at the company, at least not yet, not for another year. So they were just like, hey, we just want you to make this video. How much do you want to get paid for making it? And I, who only ever had made money through like either Travis Gafford, just like being like, hey, we have this video, here's how much I'm willing to pay you for it, let's upload it, let's get it done, and like flat rates and stuff like that, or like making videos for like people on Reddit and whatnot. So when a proper company comes to you, like, what's your editing rate? I, living in Atlanta, Georgia, where the minimum wage is $7 an hour or $7.25 an hour, which is a whole problem on its own. I was thinking, okay, how do I leave this making some decent money? I came up with the big number of $19 an hour. There's $19 an hour
No
to
way.
make this video for Riot Games, living in Atlanta. I thought I was gonna make bank, and they were like, "Okay, John, don't ever sell yourself that short ever again. Absolutely not. We're
How
gonna
old were
pay
you at
you
this
X
point?
amount." And I was 19. Born in
Oh, okay,
2000, so
that
like yeah, the
explains a
yeah, the
lot.
year, the age, exactly. So I was 19, and I was like, $19 an hour, everything's 19. That would be good. And they were like, no. In fact, we're just gonna pay you this day rate, very generous number, to make this video. We anticipate this taking like a month to make, so you'll be getting that like every day, and not including weekends. And I was like, so. Unrelated, I showed up with like new Yeezys the next day. So I was just like so shocked that you could one make like such good money from this, but two that like Riot saw enough worth in me to pay me that much because I would have been happy with the 19 an hour. So, but that's not just the process though. So of course, like there's other things like, just signing your freelance contract. They were able to get me onboarded really quickly because again, I didn't need like, full-time employee benefits and whatnot. So it was as simple as just like, here's the contract, sign it. I think I had to sign an NDA, which is really funny because I had already told everybody in my life at that point that I'm working for Riot. I dropped it in the Discord as you remember. So when the NDA came, I was like, uh,
Starting
okay,
now, right?
we'll deal with that. Yeah, like starting now. We'll deal with this later, right? So that was really funny, but it's still like they made it such a simple and seamless process. And one thing that I really want to also give Riot their flowers for is that yes, I was 19 years old, and yes, I'd already like been a little bit immature with the whole 19-hour debacle, and not knowing like how to charge them. They still treated me with like such respect and as if I was like had been doing this for 20 years and was like the same age as them because like always people are a little bit older, 35 maybe even 40, come from massive backgrounds. I remember I was working with Carrie Dunn at the time and she had done the Google year in review videos. Like that was like her project before she joined Riot. So like these are big, massive names and people like way more established than me because my only accolade at that time was making this just the game video and the other worlds videos, right? So like I was like, oh, I'm so out of my depth, but they never once treated me like they were just taking advantage of me or just they didn't appreciate my work. Like they actually really wanted to see here's the concept, what can you do with this and how can you put a spin on it. And yeah, just like a massive shout out to them for that. But they made the process so seamless and so easy. So the first couple of videos I made just to wrap this up was like I made a North America at World type video for Travis Gafford. That did great, and shout out to him. And then I made the following year, like the actually no, yeah, the following year or that year. It might have been that year. Yeah, okay. So I released Waiting for Worlds in summer. So that year, Worlds was in China. So I did the Worlds location announcement video for Riot. That announced I was going to be in Shenzhen. I think Shanghai as well, and then Wuhan, which a lot of people were like, "What Wuhan?" But at the time, which is crazy for them to have done, I was like, "Is this going to end well?" But Wuhan and whatnot. And I think Chongqing as well. So yeah, like insane that I made that, and the video was only like 30 seconds long as well. Like it wasn't some super long, like massive video that I was used to, but it was enough for me.
So my other thing is like those world videos announcements. They often have like B-roll of the place and of like player. Was that a case of they just gave you all the footage that you, or did you ask, hey, I want a specific shot of something like that? Like what was that process? Because they gave you a month to make it.
Yeah. No, for sure. It was really cool so I had been so used to making like sourcing my own footage for so long. Like, and by doing that, I mean I would go to the LoL Esports YouTube channel and just download their like teaser trailers and whatnot, and then like cut it up. So I have like footage of Faker I want to use, Double Lift Bjergsen. But for Riot, it was like, hey, you're the main editor, and we have an assistant editor for you. And I was like, that exists? Like you can do that? Like an
You can do
assistant,
that?
someone else? Like what? And they're like, yeah, just tell the guy what footage you need. Tell him that I want this shot of Ruler from this video, and he'll go get it for you. Or just tell him you want a shot of Ruler at all. Like he'll get it done. That's his job. And I'm like, what? So I got an assistant editor. And the coolest thing, still actually really cool to this day because it happened since. You know how my big thing was just like finding music or trailer music I already wanted to use or already liked on a playlist. Riot was like, yeah, and we got this guy named Alex who works for X. Movie trailer production studio who will make the song for you. What song would you like? And I was like, what? So I got to work with the music team and I got to tell them I think the video would be really sick if it was the world's theme, but it starts out slow and it slowly ramps up and like there's little like drops of it in there, but it doesn't become really grand until the end of the video. Like I got to actually direct how I wanted the music in my video to work, and they did that. And it was just so insane. And again, like I got to ask, Carrie or Emil if I needed any help with like storytelling or scripting. I could tell them I need changes. I think at the time they in the video they were like, should we even address COVID? And I got to speak up in that call and be like, guys, I think we do. Like I think it's important to say that we notice that this thing has happened and it's really weird and difficult right now. But like we're gonna have worlds anyways, and that's why the Waiting for Worlds video existed, because I didn't stray away from the problem that the world was facing at the time. It was like, hey, this is the world health pandemic, but worlds needs to happen. happened. So it was such a cool process because they built a strong team around me, and that is absolutely what led to me wanting to start Silvxs Productions later on. Because I was like, dude, working with a team and not having to do this all by yourself is really sick. Like hot take, who knew? So yeah, that's kind of how that process went.
I mean, that part of just having someone create the music, like just that direct level of direct being able to direct it, I feel like that must have sold
Mhm.
you, like you said, on like, I want to work for Riot. I want to start my production company. I want to do this like full time. What's the
Absolutely.
a point from when you go, I can make this my living. I love this. I'm making a lot more than $19 an hour as a 19-year-old. I can do this full
Mhm.
time. Maybe I shouldn't be, a delivery driver at a Chinese restaurant. What point does that
Right.
happen?
Yeah, it definitely happens a little bit 2021. And it's funny because I didn't really leave that delivery driver job until I graduated college. Like I still kept working for them because I really had a great relationship with the owners and whatnot. Like they just loved me and like I was like their favorite employee, to much of my friends' dismay who worked with me there as well. So yeah, I made sure to like keep working with them and still like at least show up like twice or three times a week. But that being said, I think I wasn't too hasty with it. Like it was really cool working with Riot. But what's funny is I made that video for them, and I've told this story before. After I released that video with Riot, they ghosted me for like 6 months to a year. Like I did not hear back from them after that for a while. And I was like, okay, did I do bad? The video, like, was it not good? Was it not successful? Did they just not have work? Like, is something like going on? Or are they like coming up with a better offer for me? Like, I didn't hear from them at all. So I remember I had sent some emails, to that guy, Emil, and I was like, hey, it's, John here, Silvxs. Remember me? Like, we did the video last year, it was super awesome. Is there potential for us to do more together? Like, I'd love to work with you guys again. Kept tugging on that thread. Didn't hear back at all. Just did not hear back. Until randomly, and this was great. It's because like they really do look out for you. Until randomly, I get a message from Team Liquid. Team Liquid reaches out in 2021, and they're like, "Hey, we just landed a big contract with Riot through their third-party video production studio because Liquid owned Liquid Media, which was called One Up Media at the time." One Up Media was like, "Hey, we Riot has now outsourced all of their LoL esports videos to us, and they want weekly series from us. And they want content, all these different things." When they did that, they in their in our contracts, well, not in our contracts, but like on the side, they said, by the way, if you're looking to hire people, hire Jonathan Alvarez, hire Silvxs. He did great for us last year, blah blah. So if you need a video producer, I think he could be a really good fit for it. Which again, just shout out to them because even though I didn't hear back from him, he still had mentioned me and given me my flowers with Liquid, and they hired me. And what's funny with Liquid as well is when I started out and they tell me, hey, what we want from you is we want a weekly series. There was no interview, by the way. It was just straight up like, hire this guy. He's great. They did, but we want a weekly series from you. How do you see this like unfolding? How would you do it? Can you produce it for us? I had no idea what a video producer was at the time. I was a video editor. So for me, it was, hey, I know put this in Premiere Pro, add this music. I produce my videos in my head and I just like make them in the timeline. Like I don't use scripts, I don't use anything like that. Everything comes from my mind. So when they were like, yeah, we want to see your workflow, how you produce your videos, I had no idea what I was doing. So they sat in a call with me and they're like, okay, here's how I would do this. And they made this big massive sheet, and like it was just like really detailed, and it was like at this timestamp, this clip, and using this song and all these different things. Here's what the title of the video would be. Here's what the thumbnail should be. Like this is how you can produce it. So they were like, can you do this? And I was like, I think so. And I got really good at it over time, and now I think I'm elite level video producer. But it's funny to think that I had no idea what I was doing back at the time. But yeah, Liquid came. They wanted to do a weekly series, which was called Can't Miss Matches, where it was just each week to highlight just the big matches upcoming in LoL Esports that weekend. So it's really fun because my job just became watch each region and decide which matches are the most exciting. They didn't even like tell me which ones to pick. Like I got to fully just pick which matches I think
Nice.
should be the canvas match of the week. And I don't think I ever really missed because people all typically agreed, and it was kind of obvious because like if it's Korea, anything that's featuring T1 at the time, KT as well, or not, yeah, kind of Genji as well. So like those three teams, if they were like in the match, it's probably match of the week. And then in in the LCS, anything that's featuring TSM and C9 and stuff like that. So it was like simple enough, but it was still a lot of fun that I got to like have full creative control. Team Liquid showed me a lot of respect, a lot of love. John Gray, who was the lead, not even just video producer, I think just the lead content guy at Liquid Media at the time. Shout out to him. He's so awesome, and he was the one who really like helped me, curate and define my craft.
And is this what made you think maybe I should start my own team, like my own company, my own production? Is that like working for One Up Media or Liquid Media? Did that motivate you to do that?
Yeah, definitely through because I got to work with this guy named Boris at the time. He was my like he was the editor, by the way. So like I was the video producer, he was the editor. So me and Boris were the team there. And I was like, here's the thing, right? When you work with Riot at such a young age, right? I'm glad I get to tell these stories. Like one thing that happened is that in when I released the announcement that I was working with Riot and I did these things with Travis Gafford, and people could like start following me on Twitter and kind of follow this journey, I got a message from Rogue, who was in the LEC at the time, which is still the EULCS, I think, or maybe it was LEC by that time. But I got a message from Rogue, and they straight up wanted me to like drop out of college and move to Europe to be their like
Ooh.
lead video guy at this LEC team. And I was like, yeah, no. I was like, amazing offer, but like no, like I can't move to Europe. Like I have my life here. I have my parents. Like I still live at home. Like I never lived by myself before, and now you want me to leave the country and move over there? Like I was like, I don't think I can take this. So I'm sorry. So unless I can edit your videos for you from here, I'm not moving to Europe. But that's just insane. And there were a lot more offers like that, right? So like teams would see that you were doing these things, they'd reach out to you. So like G2 reached out, and then I also had the power to start reaching out to teams that I wanted to work with. So CLG, who was still in the LC at the time, that was my favorite team. Like I said earlier in the interview, the very first game I watched was a CLG game, and I just was a fan since then. So I got to reach out to CLG and say, hey, I would like to work with you guys and make videos for you. So I had a lot of work coming in, and it wasn't enough for me to just take care of it myself on the side. So I was like, how do I keep all these clients and make all these videos that I really do want to make, while also being able to continue like my day-to-day job with Liquid, and also because I was still working the Chinese delivery job, do that as well. Like I wanted all the work. Like I was like the hardest worker in the world at that time. Capitalism. So what ended up happening is I was like, Boris, again, the editor at the time for me at Liquid Media, what if me and you start doing stuff on the side? And also, do you have any editor friends that would also like to do stuff on the side? Because while I can't edit all of these videos, I can script and produce all of them. So what do you think? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So I started to do some stuff with Boris. He brought in some people who like are still working with me at my company to this day, and we just started to produce some videos very unofficially. I think at the time I was kind of I mean, for 2021, I never really announced that like the company existed. I think I would joke about Silvxs Productions because, fun fact, like back when I made my sprite animations, I called myself Silvxs Productions on YouTube. So it was like a little bit of a callback, and I was like, yeah, like I'm doing all these videos and getting all the credit for them and whatnot, and of course getting the people who actually made it like the money and stuff like that. So like Silvxs Productions, like we're doing this, but it started to be pretty consistent. And as I'm doing things with Liquid Media, the LPL as a region as a whole reaches out and they're like, hey, we see your videos and we want to do some stuff. So I'm like staying up till 4 a.m. having calls with Riot China to make videos. And I'm like, this is just so awesome. So it just snowballs slowly over time. I want to keep all these clients, want to keep all this work. Let me just make this official. And then in June of 2022, I announced that I'm doing this thing called Silvxs Productions, and I hope that you guys all follow along. And it's a company, and it wasn't the most official company at the time. We didn't really have a proper logo. It was really just me and a bunch of friends. I had a guy that did some motion graphics. I had a guy that did thumbnails, and I had some people who made edits. And it was me at the top with the name Silvxs and the vision. So let's get this started and let's see where it goes. And the rest is kind of history because look at us now.
Yeah, I mean, just so we put this into perspective. The time that I did the 1v1 tournaments when you like really started that community was 2020. 2 years
Mhm.
later, not only have you worked on a world's announcement video, not only have you worked with a bunch of different teams, CLG. It must be so cool watching like that Fiora backdoor the undefeated Immortals to working with that team. Like that
Yeah.
must be so cool. You're working with that team. 2 years later, you have your own company with a bunch of friends. Was how was like you talked about capitalism working all, like taking all that work. What about your family? Was there ever a point where it's like, hey, are you not focused on studying? What about this? Like you're just spending your whole time on the. You mentioned how your parents were
Yeah.
very. What was the word you used? They were like protective.
Overprotective and yeah,
Yeah.
and strict. Yeah. Yeah, so I have two immigrant parents, two amazing parents from the amazing country of Haiti. So, of growing up though, they had their own rules in place that they wanted me to follow and their own expectations. But one thing I will say is like outside of them just being like strict and overprotective, they did give me a lot of creative freedom in like my career and what I wanted to do. They never were like, you had to be a lawyer or a doctor, like a lot of immigrants feel and share in that. And I understand how difficult that can be, trust me, but they were like, whatever you want to make, just do it. So when I told them at a young age, hey, I want to make video games, they were like, okay, go for it. And so whenever I started making videos for Riot, once they finally understood what was going on, because early on they would always see me playing League in high school, and they came into my room and told me to do my homework, and I'm just playing League, playing League, playing League. So they'd see me playing the game. When I started editing the game, and they came in, they just saw it on my screen. They thought I was still playing it, so they never understood that I was actually like no, guys, I promise. Like this, now I'm working on it. Like they didn't really understand that shift. So it took me a while to like properly explain that to them. But once they got it, they're like, oh, okay, he's like making this into a career, and now he's working on this. Like he's working with the company that makes it. Okay, like sure, John, we believe you. We'll let you do your thing because somehow you're affording like these easies and all these different things. So we believe you, but we'll watch your career with great interest. So yeah, I make all these videos and they've all been supportive, and now they definitely get it and they love it. And they're very quick to ask me for loans and money whenever they want, even though they don't need it. So they're very happy with the way things have gone. But yeah, so parents have been really great, and yeah, it all moved so quickly. Like you said, 2020, I'm like just running my Discord and making videos like a content creator because I did at some point decide like maybe the best route for me is just to be a YouTube content creator and make stuff. And I did good. I had some really sick videos that came out and had a lot of like was building a community. Like I had like 100 people on the Discord server, and it was actually decently uh populated in the word I'm looking for is like consistent and like people talking. So things are pretty cool. But by the time Riot reached out to me, I was like, okay, like this is gonna be my career. Like no matter what, I'm gonna make this work.
So then, how do you go from I started Silvxs production to take on these projects from LPL, from different teams that you want to work out, to oh, other games are calling me, other companies outside of League of Legends are calling me, and now I have to like just talk to me about that experience.
Yeah, that was insane on its own. Every time like a new company reaches out, like I reach a new industry, I'm still like that kid that got the first job at the Riot that was like, "What? Like you think I'm good enough to do this? Like, okay, like I just want to do right by you and make sure that these videos are sick then."
Like I just
So
want to
that was really cool.
draw an image of you're like 19, you're asking for $19 an hour, and then fast forward a couple years and the NBA comes knocking on your door, an NBA team. Like that just like I mean the scale of that.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. And the way that happened too was just so unexpected. Just getting an email one day randomly from an NBA team, and they're like, "Hey, um, are you available for work? Like, we have the Atlanta Hawks. We have things for you. We have this series that we're working on. And what got me the NBA thing, by the way, it's like it's not completely uncorrelated. What's actually funny is they reached out to me because, and I think it still exists to this day, but they actually had a NBA 2K esports team. The Atlanta Hawks had an NBA 2K esports team, and they were like, we need videos for them. They're called Hawks Talon, and seeing how you do all these different things for these other esports teams, like you seem to be you be want you to be our esports guy. But funny enough, like I started making those videos for them and doing good with the esports stuff. They're like, well, actually, we need some normal NBA stuff as well, right? So, can you do this for us and whatnot? So, esports still got me the NBA job, but my work in that ended up building into more with the NBA teams. But yeah, it's just every time you can just imagine the same thing. Anytime like a company that had that kind of stature would reach out to me and say, "We want to work with you," I had the exact same reaction I had when Rai said they want to work with me, which is like first like shock, then a little bit of like self doubt, like can I do this, and then just like crazy excitement that just would blow up and just do all these different things. It was awesome.
Did you was that ever on your radar that you could start working in other esports, like whether it's like NBA 2K? I actually didn't know that. Whether it's Valorant, what Was that something
Mhm.
that you aspired to when you started Silvxs's production, or was that not really a thing?
That I knew it was like a possibility for sure. Like I wouldn't, go as far as to say like, oh, I never imagined that I could work in a different game. Like, yeah, it made sense that I did such good League of Legends esports content that other esports could use like a Silvix of their own. And I do want to say like, the it's just a game video, like the biggest thing it did as well, like besides kick off start my career, is it kickstarted this trend of it's just a game like esport videos. So now if you type that in, you'll see that mine came out first, but there's a bunch of other esports where people like did it's just a game CS2, it's just a game Valorant, it's just a game Roblox, like it's just like all these different things people just making like it's just a game like inspired videos, and even some of the descriptions or comment sections of those videos, the creators directly shout me out and say, hey, I saw Silvix make this video and I thought it was really good, I wanted to make this as well. So that led me to believe, okay, other esports like could use my storytelling, but also my videos work for other esports as well. So it wasn't too much of a shock when other esports would come to me, but I will admit that I like my effectiveness in League of Legends did not always translate well to other games, right? Like it actually was pretty difficult to make good NBA 2K videos, and it was difficult to make good even like just Valorant videos, right? Like it's kind of like a different skill set that you need. I think I've gotten so much better than I was at the time when starting it out. But I'll tell you right now, when I made that first like Valorant video for CLG, because when they reached out to me, they didn't actually need me to make League of Legends videos, right? They were like, we actually need a Valorant person, but since we're a favorite org, are you down to do it? And I was like, well, yeah, I'll do it anyways. And that Valorant video sucked, so I had to learn a lot of different things. But yeah, esports were always in the radar, but everything outside of that was just like house money at that point. I couldn't believe it.
Is there maybe some place that you worked on that, besides like the NBA, that's outside of esports that I don't really know about, that you would feel like you want to share? Was there like an FL team that came to you or something like that?
Dude, I wish, man. I still be trying to like reach out to NBA NFL teams to this day. I'm the biggest Patriots fan in the world. Especially now, like it's with how well we're doing, like Drake May and everything. Like, I could talk about that on its own, but I do want to do some NFL stuff. So any NFL people, if you're watching this, if you have connections, let me know. Hit my line. But I think one of the cooler things I did outside of just like esports and traditional sports was like getting to work with this luxury travel vacation company that like wanted to offer vacation rentals in the Caribbean, and they flew me out to the Caribbean and I got to just like chill in the Caribbean for like a week and do a bunch of like really cool stuff and eat really good food, all paid for. Yeah, because like somehow this I deserve this because I made good esports videos. Like who knew? So that was a really cool experience. So shout out to them for giving me that opportunity. But outside of that, I mean, it's just been some of the orgs that I think that I've worked with that have been really sick, and give me some cool opportunities. Like, yeah, again, like CLG was always like really a joy to work with. Team Liquid, I think I still to this day tell people that is the single best org to work for. If you're looking for a job in esports, like I would kind of be cautious with some orgs and a lot of orgs, but CLG, not CLG, CLG is cool, but Team Liquid was great to work with. And yeah, so definitely just cool that they gave me all those opportunities.
Man, I was thinking you were gonna say, "Oh, like I worked with to make a movie trailer or an anime trailer or something like that," and then you come out with like they flew me to
Yeah.
the Caribbean just to chill for over a week, all paid for.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool too.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, to this day, can't believe it. I was like, I'll do the best I can on this opportunity, but thank you for letting me kick back on the beach and drink pina coladas and film every once in a while.
Yeah, so, how do you develop a team? Because at first it started with it's just me, some friends, Boris, if he knew anyone. We kind of developed the
Of
team that way. Retro ends up joining you. Like a bunch of people end up joining, coming and leaving.
course.
How did you take managing all of that? Because again, like you said, when you first started with Valorant, you weren't that great. I'm assuming that when you first started a company, you probably don't know all the things that entails or hiring people as freelancers. How did that
Yeah.
come about?
Just through trial and error, honestly. Like I wish I could say I was immediately good at it, but I wasn't. I made some elite, incredible hires, right? I'm not even going to shout out any names besides Retro because if I go down the list, I'll have to shout out everybody. But obviously, I know I'm a big of a SR fan you are, so I want to make sure that his name gets mentioned here. But shout out to him and how great he's been as a friend now at this point because he's gone to do some really cool stuff. But yeah, you don't always find retros though. Sometimes you find you take a chance on people and it doesn't end up working that well. Sometimes it's my fault that I don't enable them well enough to where they're able to do their best work, right? So it's not always just them as a person. And then sometimes they're just trying to right fit. So it's just trial and error. Like I plugged and played a lot of different people and freelancers into Silvxs to get it to where it is now. And yeah, it's worked out. I think now I have a really, really good eye for hires and people that I want to be part of it, which is good. But it wasn't always that way. So I'd say ask people for advice for sure. Like people will definitely give you good advice, and they'll probably help you make a little bit less mistakes than I did. But also, you need to just be comfortable knowing that like sometimes everything's gonna look perfect to somebody, and you're gonna try them out, and they're not gonna be the person that you thought they were, and it's not gonna work out that well. And then vice versa. Sometimes you're gonna hire someone and be like, I'm just gonna give you a chance, and they're gonna end up being maybe your best employee and the hardest worker and a great person to work with. And you're gonna be like, all right, we need to just do more stuff. So just trial and error.
All right, I want to talk about Echo as a champion because you have a lot of relation to Echo, and then I want to talk about Dignitas. But
Yeah,
before that, I actually want to get maybe a
sure.
couple other stories from you. When you start like a company or a business, I'm sure you get a lot of requests. Like you said, you kind of wanted to take as many jobs as you could. Have there been any
Yeah.
like requests that you see that you're like, I'm not sure this is legit, or like scams that you see or something like that that you can share? You don't have to
Oh
share the
man.
company name, but you know, if you got a funny story out
The
there.
I mean, there's definitely been a couple of companies that I'm like, I don't know that are a bit suspicious. Definitely, like I think with all the love I have for esports and some teams, like definitely when you get an email or like a message from like a tier three like Turkish team that you can't really find that much about them online, but they're like, hey, can you make this video for us and we'll pay you afterwards? You probably shouldn't take that just because you don't know for certain if they're actually who they say they are and if they actually have money. So I would just give that as like a call out to everybody who's looking to do work in esports. Just like try to vet the teams that you work with properly. And of course, like the big thing too that always sucks is that like I'm not gonna name any names because this is basically all of them. Every single company I have worked with has had a moment where they've been a little late to pay invoices and they've been delayed in the invoicing process. So just keep a lookout for that. And if you want something that like pays on time and pays consistently, maybe esports might not be for you because that goes all the way up the ladder, all the way down the ladder. Is that companies sometimes just when you're a freelancer, especially, sometimes your invoices just get lost, and the person who's supposed to deliver it to the accounting department didn't, or the accounting department just needs more time and whatnot. So just be on the lookout for that. But I will say no like specifically juicy stories of like this was a scam or this was bad. I think maybe like the biggest one is I did work with like the LFL English broadcast for a while. That when that existed, and that was like a cool opportunity at the time, but that ended up like like living and dying within the split just because I think they just didn't have funding and money that they needed. So that ended up being a big problem. And it was a time where me and like all the other staff at the LFL at the time were like in the Discord group chat, just like being like, where's our money? Like, what are we getting paid and all these different things. So that was really confusing, but I somehow made some really great friends from that experience as well. Some shout out to Don Jake, who actually like was working like with at the time on the LFL team, like really interesting. That was back when he was like a caster and not the man that he is now. Ravish was also working with that, like Ravishing Ravish was working on that product. So made some really cool friends and relationships from that. And I think everyone went on to do some really cool things. Like Sierra Dawn is also a big name now. So but yeah, there was a time where we were all like, huh, this kind of sucks. But yeah.
That's interesting. I would have assumed. I mean, I'm not even 1% of the size that you guys are, but sometimes I get emails from people that are obviously not those people, and I'm like, "What?
Mm.
Like, did you really think I was gonna fall for that?" I was envisioning maybe you get a request from like Hollywood. Oh my God, we'd love you to make a video, and then it's
Uh,
like instead of having the right email at gmail.com, it's at gsnail.com or something. I'm like, I don't know if it's you.
That's Hilarious. No, I get like the sponsorship phishing emails now, but I think everyone gets those. Like if you have a
Yeah.
YouTube channel that has like more than 1,000 views or subscribers, like everybody gets those kinds of emails where they're like, "We want to work with your channel, and we're Raid Shadow Legends," but they're actually like Raid Shadow like World or something like that, like at gmail.com. Like, and you're like, that's not actually them. But yeah, I think everybody gets those at this point. Scams are so prevalent.
Yeah. All right, now I want to talk about Echo, and this champion is a champion that you've associated yourself with in like your videos, your editing. Is this a champion that even before Arcane, did you like his story? Did you like his introduction? What was the draw to Echo? Okay, okay, I see you.
Yeah. Just need this. This is my anxiety calmer, clearly. No, Echo has always been just like a really big I think it's just really cool, especially like as a black kid playing League of Legends. Like there weren't at the time a lot of black champions. Like when I joined the game, I think there was like Lucian, Karma. If some people consider her black, but I think she's also like kind of supposed to be like maybe Arabian or Egyptian and all these different things. So kind of black, depending on like if you want to claim her or not. I think there's always been some like considerations there, but yeah, there just weren't a lot at the time, right? So Echo comes out, and not only is he black, but he's also like a black teenager, which I was at the time, and he like kind of looked like me, like he was like my skin tone too, like he wasn't like a light skinned character either. I just kind of felt like really connected to him, and I was like, wait, like, and also like all his quotes as well, like are like kind of like cocky and like they like confident and sure of himself, which like was like my personality for a while. Where like I wanted to fake it till I made it, right? So I was like, I'm the best, and I'm gonna prove that I'm the best, all these different things. So there were just a lot of similarities in like not just like visually, but also like in how we act and like how we view life. I'm talking like I could like actually exist, but like this is all before Arcane as well. So all I really had to go off of was just like the champion quotes in game and like a little bit of like his lore that you would find on the Wikipedia. But point being that I attached myself very heavily to him to the point where to start off my company, he was my company mascot, right? Like Silvxs, our mascot was Echo, and everything was like surrounding Echo. So like whenever I like release like a post, like I have like an Echo GIF for like where I could would tease like a tournament, like Echo would be in it and whatnot, like in the posters. But yeah, it's not so surface level that I'm just like, oh, he's black, but there like admittedly is a big part of that where I was like, I feel connected to him because there's someone in this game that finally looks like me and sounds like me. And I think he's just so sick. And I mean his abilities and whatnot, his play style as well, all of it's so cool. So big shout out to him and thank you, Riot, for featuring him in Arcane.
Did you end up playing a lot of Echo? Like, did you one trick Echo, or was it more of like I connect with the champion, maybe not in game?
No, I eventually ended up being an Echo player, but to start out my league career for about 3 years, maybe four before they finally got him out of here, I was a Mordekaiser one trick. Before the rework where you could take the Dragon's Ghost and run around the map with that. That was what I did. I would get home, I would lock in Mordekaiser, and I'd go top lane. I played that man every single game. He never got banned. No one ever knew what he did. Like there were people who I would lane against them, and they would just like let me just cook them because like they had no idea what this champion did. So big shout out to Mordekaiser. He got me gold probably like 3 seasons in a row when I maybe didn't deserve it. That was before I actually got good at the game. And then when they reworked Mordekaiser, I was like, okay, I need a new champion because I didn't really love the rework, but I didn't hate it. I was just like kind of indifferent to it. But Echo was like, yeah, again, I was already like a fan of him visually. I was like, well, let me actually like play him as well. And yeah, I got really good at Echo, and he became the champion that I didn't necessarily one trick, because I just like brought in my champion pool at the time. Because who knew that League was so much fun when we actually played more than just one champion out of like the 150 that exists now, right? So yeah, I play him and others, but I had a lot of fun with him in the mid lane. And yeah, like whenever I want to sweat and like I'm playing maybe fives with my friends, or we're doing like an in-house, like I'm lucky in Echo, I'll go in mid lane and just gonna like try to carry my ass off.
I think it's really cool that you found a champion that you could kind of identify with and just have that level of connection to the game. It also adds to what the point that I brought earlier, which is like you. It was very obvious that you had passion for League of Legends. I think it definitely helps when you have a lot of passion for multitude of reasons: the stories, the champions, the players, everything like
Yeah.
that. Um, you start doing work with Dignitas, and Dignitas is the doesn't have the greatest reputation in League of Legends. They in North America used to be one of the coolest orgs like 2012, 2013, even 2014. They leave the league when franchising happens, they rejoin, and then ever since then they've been kind of mediocre. And then the past few years, like GMing and whatnot, they just have um they become the villains of the league. They finished, in the bottom of the standings, and yet you consistently work with them and produce videos. Um it's a very weird situation because people love the videos that you make, but then they don't like Dignitas. So it's a weird situation to be put in where maybe people don't like the players that they hired because they feel like the players shouldn't be there. But then you're making cool videos. You're making like arcane level videos with those players, and it becomes a situation where they got a lot of criticism. But then the one thing that Dignitas would always get as praise is they got some really cool editors. They're working with Silvxs. So talk to me about that
Yeah.
relationship, because I'm sure you were like privy to that part of the community as well.
hmm Yeah, no, Dignitas, I mean, they've been such a massive part of my career because I started working with them in early 2023, and then through 2024, then through 2025, where we did like an even bigger like partnership and deal. So 3 years straight of working with Dignitas closely, like that is a part of like my journey that I cannot like go without mentioning. And I do want to like, before I get into like explaining, like interpersonal relationships and how that was, I just want to give them a massive shout out because I've been like reluctant to bring them up this entire interview, but it's not because like I'm hiding anything. It's because it's all so recent and so fresh. Their partnership ended, but yeah, big shout out to them for all the work that I've done with them and how great they had been to me, and continue to be to me now. Giving me creative control and letting me like just cook with the videos and just trusting me. I always felt respected by them. I always felt like they, we're more than like the sum of its parts. Like they just is unfortunate their eventual, their standings in the LCS and how they perform, like all of that was very unfortunate. But at least internally, though, like it always felt like we wanted to try to win and do right by the community, but just couldn't. But with all that said and like disclaimer out of the way, it definitely was very hard feeling as if like I'll admit that like my prime years were wasted um, at Dignitas because I felt like I could have made such amazing content that would be seen by like a lot of people, a lot more people that ended up seeing it if I was just with a team that would win more, right? That was just a team that had more of a fan base. I was with a team that didn't have to go through so many like controversies and all these different issues that would arise. Like if I just was with a team that could support me and just say, all right, we're gonna win and we're also gonna win in content, we would have done such amazing things together. But unfortunately, what just happened with Dig is that they just couldn't put together a roster that would succeed. And even when they did try, like there was that Dig season roster that I think a lot of people were excited about, and I was excited about. And I made some of my best videos there. But yeah, they just couldn't string together enough wins. So it was tough when I knew that people loved the content, but they didn't love the way the team performed. And that, like, at some point when the team was going through controversies, whether it was like with things with XU or Surdy and whatnot, all these different problems, that people were like, we're going to just not watch this content because we don't want to support this team at all. So even though you're making some sick stuff, because it's Dignitas, we're not even going to watch it. So there was a minute there where I felt like the Silvxs name could carry beyond Dignitas, but once it really started to be like conjoined, it didn't matter what videos I was making, people just weren't gonna watch.
So then I want to specifically talk about a couple of the videos you made. There was a video very early on where you had um, Santorin and Jensen reacting to Faker's plays, not knowing that it was Faker. And they were trying to guess what rank it was. And they were like, oh, I think this guy's gold. Oh, I think this guy's actually good. And they were all just Faker. And at the end, they were like, oh my God, we just like flamed the hell out of Faker. That was you, right? Because you said 2023, and that was in 2023, the roster.
Yeah, that was 2023. And yeah, I mean that video is just still to this day the most watched video in the LCS since its release. Like Yeah, there's that video, and then after that, nothing has beaten it in views. It's at 1 million now. It actually just hit 1 million views, like I think like last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. So 1 million views on that video. Not necessarily my magnum opus because it's not we put a great amount of effort into it. It was a simple concept, but one that I'm proud of because that was just me being like, guys, like LCS content is so stale, so boring. It's just like simple stuff of like either we're doing voice comms or we're doing like these sponsorship deliverable videos, like or like highlights. Like people want to see more. People want to see a little bit more effort, and they want to laugh. Like so, what can we do? And I had a bunch of different concepts, not just that one. Like I had other ones, like just people like engaging with the community. I had like a series that was called Post Match Thread, where
Yeah.
yeah, at the end of every week, yeah, I'd have the players like read the Reddit comments, and sometimes the Reddit comments were just like flaming them and being like, "Oh, this team sucks" and whatnot. And like, yeah, that wasn't the most fun for the players to see that like, oh, the players like the community hates me. But hey, at least they're engaging with the community because the community feels like they're not being heard. Like they feel like you guys aren't paying attention to any of this stuff. So seeing that you guys are talking about it, it actually like helped with the engagement because people were like would go to the post match thread knowing, okay, there's a chance that this player will actually see this, so let me like say what I want to say to them. Again, for better or for worse. And then there were like other series stuff that I did with the videos, and which I'm sure you'll bring up. But yeah, the guess the rank video, it's just like clear as day that it's not always about how the team's performing because when that video released, I'm pretty sure Dignitas was on a 0-9 losing streak. They were 0-9 in the LCS, and I put out that video, and it is so massively watched. So you have the worst team in the LCS, but the highest performing video. Like what a discrepancy! And it just played to the strength and what I believe about myself the whole time is that like if you give me the keys to the kingdom, I'll bring you content, I'll bring you viewership, I'll bring you people that care.
That's actually the reason I bring that up. Actually, is specifically because that Dignitas sucked. They had a lot of roster issues. I know this isn't like your expertise or anything, but you were able to decouple success from content. An organization that does that really well is Optic. It doesn't matter if they're making every major, if they're winning champs. It doesn't matter if they suck and they're rebuilding. They always have really incredibly well written videos. Well, like what's the word I'm looking for here? Uh, Captivating videos. That's the word I'm looking for. Their videos are always captivating,
Mhm.
so it doesn't matter. And sometimes they're just like doing whatever's trendy. Sometimes they're doing different. They don't want it to let it get stale. Like you were saying, you thought you felt like the
Yeah.
videos were kind of stale when you first joined Dignitas. It really felt like there was all that life and invigoration, and then slowly it felt like maybe you just beat down by all the negativity. That it felt like that creativity kind of started to leave. Did you feel that way, or I want to get your perspective on that?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, so just to make sure I understand what you're saying properly. So you feel like when I started out, it felt like there was a lot of negativity and like I was able to like kind of surpass that, or are you saying that like when you that I started out and I was making all these content, these videos, and then like over time it started to just like the negativity started to get overwhelming. Like, is that what you're trying to like, ask about?
More like when you started, it felt like you had a lot more. The content felt more fresh. It felt like whether it's
Mm,
like on the players or on you or whatever. I'm not necessarily saying it's one person's fault, but it felt fun to watch Dignitas videos, even though they're losing,
yeah,
because you had a lot of really cool creative twists. And then going into
yeah,
like 2024, especially like spring, it felt like that was lost. Even though they were
yeah.
still losing, it didn't feel that way at all.
Hmm. Yeah. No, definitely. There's a couple different reasons. One of them being simply like at some point you kind of run out of like content and stuff like that. Like I mentioned, the post-match thread videos like that wasn't going to be like a long-term thing that worked because like the novelty fell off after a point, right? Like, oh, the player's going to read Reddit threads. Like, sure, like people stopped kind of caring that much because like the interest in the LCS started to wane, which is my second biggest issue as well. Is like it doesn't matter because at least when I started out making the Dig videos in 2023, like the viewership in the LCS was more than it has currently, right? So like when you have more fans to pull from, you're gonna get more engagement, more content, and you're gonna feel more invigorated. But when the viewership starts to fall off because people just care about the LCS as a whole more, then you start to lose that passion a little bit and you stop caring. So yeah, there's a couple of reasons, but the big one as well is that like um there started to be like kind of at least within me like just a feeling of like okay, I just have to hit this metric. I have to release videos, right? Which is like not where I ever want to be as a creative. Like I never want to feel like I need to make videos, but I did start to feel like, okay, I need to make videos because either like this is how I get paid to make videos, or I have to make videos because we have sponsorship deliverables that need to be in this video and have to come out. Or Riot is incentivizing the team to make content, which means that we have to make content so we can meet those incentives. So like a bunch of different reasons to make us have to do it, but that just meant that my ideas I was putting out weren't the best because I was instead of checking a creative, vision and feeling,
Mm.
I was checking a box and saying, I need to make this, I need to put this out for a but assortment of reasons. So that didn't really help with my creative, endeavors when I felt like I needed to do it or had to. And again, not necessarily Dignitas's fault, not necessarily the player's fault, not necessarily my fault. It was just a bunch of different reasons, but yeah, it just wasn't. It stopped being as fun 2024, and also like, a lot of 2025 stopped being as fun.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up is because I wanted to really get into your headspace of you made a tweet and you said the video that I'm going to make is going to revive League of Legends. And everyone was like,
Mhm.
no, the tweet was, I can save League of Legends, or I'm like the only person who could make this video that would save League of Legends. And then you released
True.
that. And I was trying to understand, like, at what point you start working with Dignitas and it kind of feels like the videos aren't as fresh. Like there's like a lack of motivation, whether it's in the players, the editors, whatever it is, to get into like that level of like, no, I am going to double down. I want League of Legends to succeed. And then you make that video that's like, this esports should be dead by now.
Mhm.
What motivated that video?
Yeah, it was definitely like I still had the sauce, right? It was like the thing is like I was demotivated in making content like with Dignitas just because again like performance wasn't good, having to do things all the reasons I just stated. But like I still had like the passion for professional league and I still had stories that I wanted to tell. And also part of it was like frustration because like I said, viewers were starting to leave, they just stopped caring, and I'm like dude, this is like this sucks because there's so much history here. There's so much love that I have for this game. Like, how do I like, just make this clear? Um, and yeah, it led to that video where I was like, okay, the LCS needs a savior. It needs people to remind them why we care about this game, why we follow this region, why like we do. It's like they just needed the why to be very clear. So how do I do this? And it was like, let me just go back to my roots. Let me go back to my roots of just telling stories, of just pulling, footage, hitting that little bit of nostalgia. I remember like a viewer like called me out in the comments here, like all of Silvxs' videos seem to tug on that nostalgia string. Like I wonder if he knows what he's doing. And I'm like, I know what I'm doing. Like, just showing you old Bjergsen, old Double. If like, oh, I remember how much you used to love this. Like Dyrus, like wow, like the odd one. Like, come on, guys. Like, all these different things. I was like, I have to show them why they used to care about it, and then tie that into why they should care now, and the fact that like things were bad, but they're getting better. Like the players are starting to build more personality. We're starting to perform not too bad at international events. Where there's a little bit of a comeback coming. At least at the time, I felt like that, and then the Worlds this year happened. But all these different things, right? So I was like, there's a lot of goodwill in the LCS, and I don't think people are seeing that. So let me just make this video with a little bit of a clickbaity title, being like, this shit should be dead by now, right? Because that makes people think like, okay, it's gonna be the video that I need that hates on the LCS and justifies my hate for it. Then they would watch it and leave being like, wait a minute, like okay, like I do still love this thing. I do still have feelings for it. Yeah, and yeah, so that like was just fueled by again just things going on with Dig and not feeling I was being the bright creative that I could be, and then also just like frustrations with the LCS, and then desire to like revive my YouTube channel and do more things on it because when I started to work with Riot and Team Liquid and CLG and Dignitas, like I stopped making as much videos for my own channel, so I wanted to do right by my viewers and people like you who were following me so early on and probably started to feel like wait, where is the Silvx that I knew? Like, where are these videos, right? And stuff like that. So it kind of touched on like everything that I wanted to do at once. And it was just like the perfect storm. It was the perfect time. It was like during like the middle of the off season too. And yeah, people wanted to see it. And that video, I mean, it defined like the second part of my league career. Like it just really reinvigorated people to be like, this guy knows what he's doing. He is he's awesome, and I do love the LCS, which is the big thing I was trying to convey.
So is this it, sorry, I completely blanked. Okay.
Very good.
This esports should be dead by now. Yeah, so this video came out at the time where in 2024 summer was like really the heyday of like the modern LCS. You know, we had been going downhill, and that's one split was where everything started going uphill. And then that video comes out, and it feels like we have
Mhm.
motivation. We get it to quarterfinals of Worlds, almost beat Gen.G. It really feels like we have so much momentum for the LCS, and then LTA happens, and
Mhm.
we're completely destroyed, and like everything gets torn from our chests. And we have the LCS
Yeah.
back now, so we can pretend like that didn't happen, but it did happen. And we're all sad and crying. And like, how does that feel going from, oh my god, the LCS is great, to I'm working for the LTA now, and like people, there's like 30,000 people. What just happened to the esport that I
Yeah.
love?
The esport that I love. Yeah, no, it was definitely very like comical in that happening because like yeah, like I released that and I'm like this esport should be dead. I mean, just like you said, like this esport should be dead. Perfect timing, perfect storm. Everyone's like rallying behind it. They're like, yeah, we love the LCS. This is it. Like I don't care if people stop watching. I'm gonna watch or I'm gonna tell my friends to watch. I'm gonna send this link to my friends. Like blah blah. And then yeah, like weeks after that, Riot announces that they're gonna change to the LTA. And it just feels like, wow, okay, maybe this esport does deserve to be dead. Like maybe I was right with my titling there, and it wasn't just clickbait. So yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, it just sucked. Like it just really sucked because uh, I not to be too delusional, but I did to a level start to think that like, wait, maybe I actually am gonna save this thing, and then Riot does like kill it more than they've ever killed it before. So I don't even have that much more to add. Like it was like you said, it was just difficult. It was not great, and it was probably like the straw that broke the camel's back for me going into 2025, where like I felt like if 2024 was like a bad year for like content and like feeling like motivated to do dig content, I could not feel less motivated than I did in 2025, where I was just like, oh my God, let me just, just give me my paycheck and move on. Like this like people aren't watching the LTA in general. They're not gonna watch Dignitas, which is the worst team in the LTA. Like, just get me out of this. So yeah, not the best. Not the best.
I do want to talk about a couple of things that I think you're the one that I can't imagine anyone else who would have directed them. But
Hmm.
there was a video that you did that was like an arcane video with Dignitas. Was that Dig's idea?
Yeah.
Was that your idea? Where did that come from?
Yeah, it was actually it was technically came from Silvxs company. It was not my idea on my own. I had a freelancer that was working with me at the time. Her name was Jewel, Melissa. So shout out to her. But she uh we're like in a call with Dignitas, coming with like more content ideas because like we always want to ideate and come up with stuff like even no matter like where we're at, like we always want to like try to like do right by Dig. So like okay, well, what is our like big video this year gonna be? And then yeah, like everyone's kind of like throwing out different ideas here. And I think I said I want to do a music video. I think they wanted to do something like related to like a documentary, all these different things. And then she like speaks up and she was like, guys. Arcane is very fresh in people's mind. Like our season two kind of just came out at the end of last year. What if we did like a spoof on Arcane, but we brought it to real life? But we did it very low budget, and like we just had fun with it, and it was really just like funny and like clearly like not taking itself too seriously. And we were all like, that's hilarious. Like, yeah, like let's see what we can do. Like, how do we make that happen? So we can, like buy the costumes, we hire the team, we get the studio, we inform the players of what they're doing, and they never listen anyways. They just show up. But we try to tell them what they were doing. And like, yeah, guys, we're doing Arcane in real life, and that was like again, not everything from last year was like bad content or anything like that. Like there was some like really bright moments, and that was one of them for sure. Where it's just like a fresh person because she was like she was a brand new freelancer at my company at the time, and yeah, like fresh idea, and it was just like really funny. And I flew out for it. I was Echo in that video, right, to call back to the whole like loving Echo being my mascot. So yeah, it was just like the perfect storm. So shout out to her for the idea. Shout out to the team for the execution. Dignitas for trusting us with it. Jason for being the director on site and whatnot. Everyone did great.
Yeah, that did feel like the highlight of Dignitas's year, which is a
Hmm.
good or bad thing depending on how you look at it. But it did feel like you
Sure.
guys were playing into the themes that were happening around you. Arcane 2 had just come out, people liked it. You're like, oh wow, what's this team
Yeah.
that's doing like Arcane stuff? And I remember I had Dignitas fans in my DM saying, look, we're changing, we're doing for the better. And then a month later, they're like, I hate this stuff.
Right.
But we don't have to talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, Dignitas comes out with like the a League of Legends movie.
Hmm.
And it was a very strange movie because it felt like it came out of nowhere, and the timing was weird, and it had like very mixed responses. So maybe could you talk to me about the idea behind that?
Yeah, that was another one that wasn't my idea. Just to be clear, I love the video. I think the video was great. And that was, one of the people in my company's idea. We like, I mean, it was like a joint effort actually. I think that was when we all ideated together. Like I mentioned earlier, like we wanted to like, what was our big video that year? We did the Arcane video, but what would our secondary big video be? And it's like, what if we did like a short story on the LCS and whatnot, right? But that video, I mean, to be completely transparent, that was also us checking a box because, like I mentioned earlier, like Riot does have incentives for content teams, well, not just content teams, but for teams in general to make content around the LCS, right? So that was like, hey, if you guys make like a really high budget video, and released it, then you guys, we release your incentives to you and all these different things. So we had to make that, but we wanted to still do something that was really, really good. Admittedly, remember, a documentary on Dignitas season would perform terribly because it wasn't a good season. No one wants to watch that. So we wanted to we wanted to show the path to pro as it's as it happens, as it unfolds, and the difficulties that players go through, the doubt from your parents or the support from your parents, the ups, the downs. Like we wanted to show all of that, but we didn't. Obviously, like, it's not like we had been recording like a player from inception to now and all these different things and stuff like that. So my point is that like we had to do it in some way, and we were like, what if we just make it a fictional story, right? Like instead of like trying to say like, oh, trying to like hit up Double Ups and be like, do you have any like videos or stories or all these different things, or hit up like Aframu, who's like a former Dignitas player. Like let's just have it be fiction and try to do it the best that we possibly can. And yeah, we got to, and it was such an awesome and insane video. I think people were thrown off by it because it was fictional. It was like it felt like it was easy to laugh at because it's like, well, Dignitas, you guys perform so badly in reality that you have to fake a successful video. Like, come on, is this a joke? Like, so I completely understand what the community means, like when we got those kind of comments and responses. But I wanted people to, maybe this is asking a lot, but I want people to just like ignore that part of it and just look at it objectively and be like, hey, just because we did this, like, does that mean that all these other movies that come out that like are fictional about like fictional storytelling, like pro players, like, is that also a problem? Like, there's so many basketball films or NFL films that like follow players that don't actually exist, but you just want to see the journey that players typically go to, and you want to pull from different players that do exist, their storylines, and pull them all into this one person as this. I mean, even now, right? Like a big movie that's dominating the box office is Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme doesn't actually exist. Like, there's no guy out there named Marty Supreme, but it's based off of this guy, like that was named. I think his name in real life might have been Marty Weiser, so it's kind of loosely based off of him. But that's not his full story. Like, that's not, like he was just a really good ping pong player or table tennis player, and outside of that, like that was basically the where the similarities end. So yeah, like I think there is a place. Oh, not I think. Like I know for a fact there is a place to tell fictional stories about real sports. But yeah, like if you're not ready for it, if you're not expecting it, and also again, when you really do suck at the game that you're actually depicting, it's not gonna be received the best. So mixed reception for sure. But still really proud of the product.
Yeah, I think if you were to release on YouTube, your YouTube channel, the reception would have been very different. It was kind of funny to see the team that like completely collapsed, and you're like, well, normally
Yeah.
around this time, teams have documentaries. They're like, we got nothing, so let's just make up some players. It was a little bit
Yeah,
funny in
let's
that
make something
sense.
up. For
Um,
sure. No, 100% agree. 100% agree. It was and we knew that too going into it. Like when we made it and ideated it, like we kind of expected that like, okay, people are gonna flame us for sucking in real life. But we're gonna do it anyways. Because we had to check that box for Riot, and because we knew it was a good video in isolation, like you just mentioned, if I put it on my own channel, probably nobody says anything weird about it.
So 2026 is here, and LCS is back. The hype is back. We had the NA tag team. We got all this like positivity running through. We got like a really cool format. Man, last year's format was so tough. The players didn't even know
Oh
they were
yeah.
playing for first. It was a disaster. But
For
we've
sure.
passed that. The car crash ended. We've healed, hopefully. And going into 2026, I saw just today you made a post on Twitter saying you got this brand new project. Uh, Obviously, you can't really announce anything yet. Can you tease something? Can you maybe give us a little hint? Is it going to be? Are you going to be working on the World's Finals? Like, what's going on?
God, unfortunately, not as of right now. I will not be working on Worlds Finals with Riot. I do have to dispel that before that even kicks off into anything. But of course, though, like what I can say is that I'll be working with an esport org that is admittedly up and coming. It's not an esport org that everyone's aware of yet. It's not, it's not an LCS team that currently exists, so nothing there. But what I find fascinating about this org is that we've seen time and time again the story of a venture capital backed team comes to the LCS. They have a bunch of money, they have new ownership or whatever it is, and they're like, all right, guys, we want to make money on this scene, or we want to be popular, we want to be famous. Let's do it. Let's buy up all the best players and let's like just try to pop off. It happened time and time again. These teams come in and then they just like they perform well for a split and then they run out of money and then they decide to leave or whatever it is. They don't get a return on their investment. All these things. And they're usually the people at the top of these orgs are like these old, out of touch, investors who don't really care. They just like saw a presentation and said, "Sure, I'll throw 1% of my net worth at this and see what happens." My point is, with this new team I'm working with, this is like all people just like me who are young, they're hungry to succeed, and they just happen to like have the money and the expertise to pull this off and to start this org. So they came to me and they said, Silvx, we want to fully like partner up with you, and we want to just like make this one unified front and have a bunch of different teams in esports and have the best marketing and content department in esports history. And we think that you're the right person to go to, because like a lot of people, they saw my early videos, they saw it's just a game, they saw my YouTube channel, they see all these videos, and they're like, "You're the right person to hitch ourselves to." So take us to take us to the moon. Like, let's do this together. We'll run the teams, we'll put up the money, and you'll put out the content, and you'll help us make the right decisions. And again, it's a team full of young people that actually love games, that actually play games, that actually attend the events that their teams are at, that are just doing such really cool stuff. So I'm excited to work with them and to announce like how like just firm we're going to be joining this, because when I did something similar with Dignitas at the beginning of this year, it still was always segmented as Silvx and Dignitas. And if the Dignitas content did poorly, it was because Dignitas sucked, and it didn't really have a reflection on us because like our name wasn't all over it, at least like it was in the early days, right? But this is like this team that I'm partnering up with now, like we are going to be like that. Like it is me, it is them, and we're going to make this just happen, and we're going to be big. And we're not quite in League of Legends yet. We're going to build our name in other esports first, and then when it's time, we're going to come to League of Legends. We're going to absolutely take over. But Riot needs to do some things with Tier 2 League, because Tier 2 is not the best right now. So I want to see them to figure that out. But still, for now, it is really exciting, and I'm excited to announce it.
Nice. So this is the next step for Silvix production.
Yeah, it's the next step for us. Yeah, again, like just to make this very clear, my deal with Dignitas has ended. I no longer have any sort of affiliation with Dignitas content that's going to be coming out going forward. Which would be funny if it's really, really good. Then suddenly I'll be like, well, actually, guys, those are my ideas. No, but no, I no longer have any affiliation with Dignitas. I hope for the best for them. I want to see them succeed. But for me, like right now, I'm hitching myself to this next team. They're hitching themselves to me right back, and that's the next step, is to just build something beautiful with them in content, in esports, and then outside of esports as well. Because like Silvx is going to still stick around, and it's not just all about being an esports team. It's about building content like outside of it as well. It's gonna be awesome. So I still do things with the Atlanta Hawks. I still do things with different companies here and there. Like I said, NFL, reach out to me. Like I'll do a video for the Patriots for free. Like please. But yeah, that's the next evolution, is becoming something more than just a video production studio, and I think it's happening. So that's how I want to say it. Actually, I like that. We're becoming something more than what you've seen from Silvx before. It's not just gonna be content. It's gonna be so much more.
I'm excited for that. Do you have advice for someone who wants to become the next Silvix, or maybe wants to join your team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the only advice I can give is I have to think about it. Well, to join my team, it's as simple as like just be young. Well, okay, you don't have to be young, but like be passionate about it. have that youthful energy. Again, you don't have to actually be young. Like if you're 50, but you still have the passion that I show now at 25, that others show at 19, like that, I'll still work with you, right? So have that like youthful energy about content, whether it's esports or not. Be professional though as well. I think one thing I like about this org that I'm be working with is that like while we are all young, it doesn't have any of that like sniffs of the usual immaturity we see in esports, where it's like people who are super unqualified and super like unstructured and all these different things. Like we're gonna run this properly. Despite not having maybe the experience, right? Besides me having run Silvxs for 3 years now, but yeah, just like be professional, but have the right energy, have the right mindset, and be willing to just like work hard, right? Like we work really damn hard here to make sure that our content is elite. And even sometimes when like we put out a product and we're like not our best, that just motivates us more that our next video will be even better. So have all those traits, and then of course anybody who like wants to like do what I do, I think just like the biggest thing I will say is that you need to have a level of delusion about yourself and your abilities that like almost like goes over into being like territories of mental illness. Like you need to really think that you are the greatest at what you do, because that's the only way you can succeed, and that's the only way that people will like care about what you're putting out, right? Like the whole humble, like, hey guys, I made this little video, like I hope you guys watch it and enjoy it. That doesn't like work long term. Now maybe as you mature and grow, you can slowly become that, like where it's like, hey guys, put this out, let me know what you guys think. Like you don't always have to be like the cocky, like I'm the best. But I think to start things out, to get attention, let people know that you're great, and then actually follow up on it. That's the big part. Don't just say it, actually follow up on it, prove it, and then be open about it, and people will come, they'll follow suit, and it's gonna be really awesome. So like again, believe in yourself, which again is the most basic advice ever, but believe in yourself to levels that even you don't actually believe in yourself. But trust me, it's gonna pay off. It's big.
That's funny because you say that, because I recently changed my in-game name in League of Legends to I'll make LCS great again. And this is even before they announced that the
Ooh,
LCS is coming back. I was like, no, I
yeah.
will make this LCS great again. I will do whatever it is in my power to revive it. And obviously, like I'm just one man. I'm delusional, but it's funny that one of the things that you believe in is my delusion. So maybe I'm on the right track.
You
Um,
are. Absolutely.
last thing here. I mean, first of all, thank you so much for all of your time. I really appreciate the stories
Of course.
that you've shared that I kind of didn't know. Also, it's really cool to kind of remember a lot of the videos that when I was, I was a teenager too. I was just watching League of Legends. I just really enjoyed League of Legends, and you were a big part of that. And to be able to talk to you and see where you've gone, it motivates me more than ever to also like follow in your footsteps, and maybe host some of my own tournaments. And who knows, maybe 6 years down the line, so I'll be messaging someone who's like, "Oh wait, you won that skin." I mean, that would be a cool little cycle.
No, I think it'd be awesome, dude. Like, I just want like the energy and passion I have about LCS. I just want that to carry on, and I think you share that amazingly. I think if I can call it someone that's probably next up in making like LCS content that's amazing, is even more passionate than I am now, is Retro, right? You know him very well. Like he's the one you guys should follow and give your love to and your viewership to. Like he's gonna make some amazing stuff. But yeah, you guys are like next up. So keep doing it, keep at it. Like you have what it takes, you have the energy, you have the passion, and that'll just take you there.
Last question for you here: are we gonna get a 2026 Worlds video? It's in NA.
You know, oh man, I've been thinking about it. You know what, Cloud? Just because I like you, I'll let you have the announcement. If you want to clip it, go ahead. I do want to say I've been thinking about it for a while. I stopped making my Worlds hype videos in 2022. That was the last one that I put out, which was Worlds in North America. It just felt right because my first one was 2016, which would had which was Worlds North America, then 2022 Worlds North America. Both were such amazing and exciting worlds. I loved walking around the stadium and people like just saying like, "Oh my God, like are you Silvxs? Like how did they even know my face? Like my face isn't even in my videos that much, but like people like still like they saw the videos, they loved it. It was such an exciting time. The energy was crazy, and I just like I cannot imagine missing out on that again when I have an opportunity like this. So I do want to say that this year, the World's 2026 cinematic trailer will return to my YouTube channel just for 1 year only, just for this
Hey!
year. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make it big. It's gonna be better than ever before. But it's definitely time to return to that series one last time.
Hell yeah, man. Let's make the LCS great again.
We're gonna
It's
make
gonna be
that sales great
awesome.
again. It's gonna be very exciting. It's gonna be a great year. I'm excited about everything that's gonna go on. So can't wait. And I know I'll see you there. And I owe you. I don't know if you drink, but I owe you drinks. I owe you food. I owe you whatever coffee, whatever you want. It's been awesome, man. And I really appreciate you and your attentiveness in this interview. Clearly, just knew a lot about myself, my journey. You know things about myself I didn't know about myself. So you're so awesome. You truly are. I think his name's Sean Garris, right? This is a Hot Ones host.
I
You're really
don't
the
know what
Sean
his
Garris
name
of
is,
this dude.
but
You're
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, no, you're awesome. Like the reason people love him is because like he really researches his people and he pulls out things from their past that like they don't even remember themselves. Like he's like interviewing these celebrities. And he's like, remember in an interview in 2004 when you said that your favorite food is like like Fruit Loops, and they're like, how did you know that? Like, so I think you're so awesome and you have this exact same energy, man. So just keep it up.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks again. Holy moly, that was an awesome interview. I mean, just the opportunity to be able to interview literally the goat is awesome. And obviously, thank you so much that he took so much time out of his day to actually do this interview with me. I'm very grateful. It's kind of surreal, 6 years later, just talking about those ARAMs I used to do and just watching him, and then discovering him and watching his older videos and being like, oh, this is so cool that he's been working on this for 13 years now, and it's really cool to see him grow a business and grow it into something that he's passionate about and that he loves, and just having him say all these like cool little stories that he's never shared before. Honestly, it was I'm very grateful that he spent all that time with me. So thank you so much, Silvix, for coming on. I hope you guys really enjoyed. I hope you guys got a little bit of the energy that was going on. Like I felt really motivated to work on League of Legends, to work on the LCS, and I hope you guys are motivated as well, or at least you guys feel the vibe, the energy of like really pushing for really cool content, because he makes some really cool stuff, and I'm excited to see what he makes in the future. So yeah, thank you again for joining. If you want to see more interviews like these, hit that subscribe button and let me know who you want me to interview, because I am running out of ideas, but I'm sure you guys are smarter than I am and at least know more people that maybe I could reach out to that I haven't already.